Hello and welcome back to Vault Holocron, where today I will be covering the Umbarans. The Umbarans, also known as the Shadow People, are the sentient humanoids which are from the planet Umbara. The Umbarans have white or pale blue skin, white hair, and white or pale blue eyes which are able to see UV light. They also have thin skin and frail looking faces. They have grey marks around the sockets of their eyes. Umbara, also known as the Shadow World, is the planet the Umbarans come from, and has a lack of sunlight on its surface. The planet is part of the Expansion region, and in the Clone Wars was initially with the Republic, but later turned to the Confederacy of Independent Systems. Now I am going to explain all known Canon Umbarans. First up is Mee Deechi, the male galactic senator for Umbara. Deechi was a believer in winning the war through military might instead of diplomacy, which brought him into conflict with Padme and Onaconda Farr. Farr was also greatly loyal to the Republic. We see Deechi in the Senate Murders episode in the Clone Wars. After Farr was murdered, Padme and Bail Organa came to Deechi and Bertoni for questioning, where they deduced that neither Bertoni or Deechi had killed Farr. It was through this questioning they found out that Deechi had Farr followed to dig up dirt on him. Deechi found out that Farr went to a meeting at the docks. However, Deechi was murdered by Lolo Purrs, who killed Deechi as he knew about the meeting at the docks and had followed Farr, making him a liability. For this next Umbaran, I essentially explain one of the High Republic stories, and so there will be chapters in the video if you wish to skip the explanation of events in the High Republic. Next up is Orla Jareni, a Jedi Master and Wayseeker during the High Republic. Jareni was a Padawan of Laret Soverol, and later became a Jedi Master and Wayseeker. A Wayseeker is a Jedi which is independent of the Jedi Council. Jareni had disagreements with the Council, especially when it came to training and instruction. As a Padawan on one mission with her master, Jareni had the urge to reject her training and take out kidnappers. Jareni resisted this urge, which led to Lord Isama shooting a blaster bolt behind their defence, which hit Monarch Cassell, who had jumped into the path of the bolt to save the Queen Consort. This event caused Jareni to contemplate whether she should always follow the Force, or do as the Jedi Council wanted. 25 years after this event is when she became a Jedi Master and a Wayseeker, as she believed that some of the decisions should be hers and not the Council's. While travelling through hyperspace, having just become a Wayseeker, the Great Hyperspace Disaster occurred. This was a galaxy-wide disaster which destroyed several moons. The ship Jareni was on clashed with debris, and so had to exit hyperspace. The Great Hyperspace Disaster meant that nobody could travel through hyperspace due to the dangers in doing so. The ship had stopped by a volatile star in an unknown area of space. They found the Maxine station here, and after some time decided to explore it. It was here Jareni and Jedi Master Vitus had an intense vision where they felt strong winds, sharp debris, and saw collapsed beams and a disturbing glow in the distance. Jareni and Vitus went back to the ship to find people fighting over supplies, and people had been looting and kidnapping people. After dealing with the situation, looking around the station again, and having another false vision, Jareni and the other Jedi with her concluded that there was something dark concealed within the statues of idols. A Jedi Knight called Des Ryden suggested that there was a connection between the bottom of the station and the darkness, and so decided to go down to the lower levels to investigate. It was there Ryden was supposedly incinerated. After giving some commiserations for Ryden and receiving intel that hyperspace lanes were now open for essential travel, Jareni visited Padawan Silas and Master Vitus. They worked out that the idols could be false artifacts which contained the Falls. The three of them then went to the centre of the station and performed a binding ritual on the idols so that they were not a threat. After this, they left the station with the idols on board their ship. At Coruscant, a group of Jedi, including Jareni, used the Force to try and fight the darkness in the idols, only to realise that the idols held no darkness, but were keeping darkness contained on the station. Jareni wanted to bring back the idols to the station, but the Jedi were busy due to the great hyperspace disaster. Jareni secretly, along with Master Vitus, got a group together and returned to the station. Once the Jedi boarded the station, the darkness felt much greater than it had before. The group split up, with Vitus going with Jareni. They concluded that the idols must have been holding back an army. Vitus and Jareni were then surrounded by plant-like creatures called Drengir. The Drengir seemed pleased to have food. The Drengir told the Jedi that they were trapped by the Sith. The Jedi duelled against the Drengir, however the Drengir healed really quickly. Jareni got hit with a poison whip-like protrusion from a Drengir, which caused her leg to ache and swell. Jareni then realised she could try and use the gardening droids against the Drengir. Jareni then collapsed the room on the Drengir, and Jareni and Vitus then went to the idols and stood within them to protect themselves. The Drengir were cutting their way out of the wreckage, damaging plant life on the station, causing gardening droids to move in, and the Drengir to melt into the station's plant life, due to the gardening droids. They then went looking for Pilot Hollow and Jedi Silas, and after fighting some marauders called the Nihil, and retreating, they found Hollow and Silas, finding out that Raiden had indeed survived earlier. However, they needed to defeat the Nihil, so Jareni and Silas were to release the Drengir. To do this, Jareni shot one of the idols, which sent out a powerful shockwave. The Jedi ran from the Drengir. The Drengir and the Nihil then fall. Silas left in an escape pod, and Jareni worked with the ship's crew to cut away vines which was holding the ship in place. Once the Jedi got back to Coruscant, they were told off by the Jedi, but were let off without punishment, due to the mission overall being a success. After this, Jareni went to cement her choice as a Wayseeker, and so bought a ship she named the Lightseeker. Someone called Geode, basically a living slab of rock and an absolute legend, accompanied her for the purchase. She offered Geode a place to join her, but he declined. Now for the Force-sensitive Umbaran, Sly Moore, also known as the Umbaran. It was alleged that Moore had the ability to manipulate minds. Moore was close to Palpatine, and in the final years of the Republic, was one of the only people to know of Palpatine's true identity. When Vader was searching for the Emperor's secrets, and was trying to get to Exegol, Moore was one of the people tasked with stopping Vader. She tried to kill Vader with brute force using TIE fighters. However, Vader easily survived, and did make it to Exegol, where he surrendered to Sidious. Moore later hired IG-88 to kill Vader, but Vader defeated IG-88, and IG-88 reported his failure back to Moore, stating that he can't defeat Vader. Next is Moshenu Phobi, the Umbaran male which worked in the printing houses of the Pluriod cluster. Phobi hid anti-Republic messages in official communications. After being let go from his position in the Galactic Senate, he defected to the Confederacy of Independent Systems. He was notable for his propaganda, "Deliver us from Jedi evil." Now for Sata, the female Umbaran hired by Gozeta as a technician. Next is Sorc Tormo, the male crime lord which led Haxion Brood. He enjoyed watching people and animals fight in his arena. Cal Kestis was one of these people. That was the Umbarans and every Umbaran Explained. Thanks for watching, and bye.